You're listening to the LouddMouth Radio Network. No matter the time or the season, we're open and available 24/7. Shouldn't your dealership be too? Carumba.com, the convenient online used vehicle marketplace. Register your independent dealership now. All right. I am also going to tell you guys that I am at another location that is just a wonderful gift to the area I'm in, which is in Temecula. Yeah. I've always had this great opportunity to say that I get to meet people in their spaces and in their places and get an opportunity to see some of the wonderful things that they're doing in their communities. And today I'm sitting with another owner of Simply Kneaded, a performance therapy clinic right in Temecula Valley, here in the city of Temecula. And I have Mr. Kevin Brooks, who is the owner and operator of this wonderful establishment. We actually have two locations, right,
yep,
Kevin?
Two locations.
Let me say that. So let me go back and say that. We have two locations that is within the Temecula Valley location, Temecula and Wildomar.
Wildomar, exactly.
Okay. And, I actually had an opportunity to test drive some of the wonderful offerings that you have here. And we're going to talk about that. And also give my viewpoint of my experience. But before I jump ahead, I want to give you an opportunity, Kevin, to introduce yourself. Let us know where you're from, and how you actually ended up doing this type of business and exactly what it is, so that we can. Because I believe in educating our audience.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
Because I can creep across it, but I'd rather let the expert explain it.
For sure.
So welcome to LouddMouth Radio, Kevin.
So thanks.
Yes.
We started Simply Kneaded back in May of 2000 was our first location in Temecula. We've, gone through a few things at the beginning, through bumps and bruises at first, but, kind of found our own, in the mid 2000s or so.
Nice.
We started as massage. So I was a therapist. I became a massage therapist in 98. And
when it was like the sexy thing to do, right?
Yeah, it was like there wasn't that much at that time. It was kind of like cryotherapy is now.
Correct.
Is that there's a lot of, you almost needed to educate people on the benefits of massage.
Correct.
Whereas now, massage, everyone just knows.
It's the standard.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, so we started back then.
So that was pretty much the motivation. Was the massage aspect when you initially started?
Exactly. We had another business down in Orange County, and then we sold that to a partner.
Okay.
And at that point, kind of decided what to do, and was getting always very sports oriented,
right?
But getting more into health and nutrition and all of that.
The
aspect.
well-being balance.
Exactly.
Right.
So. Just happened to have a buddy that just finished chiropractic school, and he recommended massage to me, so I took a few classes and it seemed to click. So I went that direction, and it all kind of fell in place. And since I already had the business aspect prior, then it was pretty easy to create the business around it.
Right.
And we kind of had the idea before really anyone was doing it to have a massage business in a retail space.
Correct.
And this is before pre-massage envies and all that.
Exactly. I was going to say yes. Now the franchise, models now.
Yeah, but
definitely that.
Yeah. So with a focus on therapy.
Yes. Well-being and the recovery.
Yeah. Even the couple places that I had worked at in the beginning, like day spas. Okay. I only lasted like 2 months because
He said I only lasted 2 months. Oh, Kevin. It's like, this is for real.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go to my car. I'm not coming back.
They wanted me to do like mud wraps and these kind of things. I'm like,
you're taking me out.
That's not what I'm into.
Exactly.
I want to like actually help people.
And exactly.
Then, and
you're not just trying to be cosmetically here.
Exactly. And then they were very on it. Like if somebody orders a Swedish massage, you have to give them a Swedish massage. But then I'd get into session with people and they'd start saying, oh, my left shoulder has issues and I got this and that. And so I would just do my thing. I would just
Right.
do what it is that would help them the most,
Right.
which is a combination of multiple techniques.
I'm sure.
And,
Right.
so I'd kind of have to tell them, like, just tell them you got a Swedish massage, but, you
Oh
know.
Lord! Oh God! Like, don't compromise the session.
Exactly.
Just stick with me.
So,
Trust me.
but, yeah, so then,
crazy.
so then quickly I realized, like, that's not the setting
not-
for me. And so,
I'm like, I'm creating pressure that I didn't remember having.
exactly. So
I can imagine though, but that's the thing, the reality is you'll have people that may accept this tone and they say, well, we're doing this, and this, but sometimes it goes between the lines. It does not always fit what you're trying to dynamically sell per se.
Exactly.
If you listen to your client base, it'll actually help your business.
Yeah.
To
for
adjust.
sure.
And that's what was happening to
Yeah.
you. You had to adjust accordingly.
Yep. So that's why even off from the get-go, we
Yes.
were also the first ones that ever said, we are only charging for time.
Correct.
We're not charging different rates for different techniques.
Mm-hmm.
Most people didn't even know what the different techniques are technically.
Right. Because they don't know all the terminology.
Yeah.
They just
and,
know that I got this big knot.
Exactly. So, yeah, they just
In
want
my back, my joint.
They just want to feel better.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
so then, and to me as a therapist, my time was my time. I didn't care
That's
if I
it.
was doing deep
Whatever.
tissue or pressure points or
It didn't matter.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Right.
So we kind of just threw that model out the window and just said, hey, we're
Smart decision.
time only, and we're going to customize every session to be as effective as
Accordingly.
possible
Right.
for that individual.
Wonderful.
So
That should have grew your customer base,
yeah,
especially your word of mouth.
for sure.
It definitely. I can imagine the impact of how much of a transition that probably made for you guys.
Yeah.
Because you were
exactly.
doing the things necessary, not just following some blueprint of do it this way.
Exactly.
Not to say that that's almost kind of like your massage envy. So when you go into those
Yeah.
franchise models where it's
Yeah.
just the standard of things,
Yeah.
and it's standardized because that's the way their business model's set.
Yeah.
So definitely, I'm sure that probably also made you feel better that you weren't not feeling challenged each day. You kind of approached the business itself
Exactly.
too, your client.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So how long did you guys kind of stay in that framework,
As far as the
massage and the hours and stuff that you were starting off with that before you got into some of the other? elements?
Before we did any other stuff, I mean, it wasn't really until 2017 that we incorporated cryotherapy.
So you ran for a long time.
For a long time, we
Yeah.
were just massage. For years. And we also did like on-site corporate chair massage and
very
things like
nice.
that too.
So
we
opened up the
kinda-
mobile market of it.
Yeah,
Right.
we kind of combined that because I did that prior to even opening our first location.
I can
I did a
imagine.
lot of that stuff on my own.
Oh yeah, cool.
And then, then we went for a long time with just doing.
You were always here in
therapeutic
Temecula?
massage. Always in Temecula.
Okay.
Our first location was in the Tower Plaza at Rancho California, Nunez. And then, it was just from, a few, if you want to call them business mistakes or whatever at the very beginning.
Right.
But then 9/11 happened quickly into it.
Ooh.
So we were doing great, but then it was, it came
Stalled.
around,
Yeah.
that happened. And
Everybody
things
was
went dry.
punched.
Yeah,
it
things
was a
kind of
hard
went
punch.
dry for like 3 weeks, and we were like,
What are we
don't,
doing?
we don't have the reserves to like make it through this.
Yes.
And of course, knowing what I know now after being in business and being in retail locations and everything, I look back at it and go, oh man, that would have been so easy to deal with
Right.
at this point.
Right.
But back then, I just
Blindsided.
scrambled and thought,
Right.
oh my gosh, like we can't pay rent this 1 month, we have to close.
Right.
So we kind of wrapped up that one, downscaled for about a year and a half, and then came back to that
Recuperated.
situation, and
Okay.
then we kind of really
Went up.
from there and kind of
Very
blew up
nice.
from
So
there,
who introduced you to the initial aspect of the additional services that you started to offer beyond the massage?
I just got interested in it personally,
Okay.
so I was interested in cryotherapy and started like really getting into it.
When did you first hear about it?
Probably 2015-ish.
Okay.
And so I went and did it at a location out in Riverside because
Okay.
there wasn't very many at
offerings.
all.
Okay.
And so it was really interesting to me and how it fit in just therapy wise.
Yes.
And so I went and did it and loved it, and then just kind of started looking into it, and and then we decided to add it on and take it on and go for it. And
so has that addition made a significant difference for you guys?
Yeah. I mean, it's been really helpful. In a lot of ways, it ups our ability to
kind of upsell additional services, offerings.
Yeah, kind of
open
upsell,
up other doors too.
Yeah, but exactly, it opens up other doors. So then we get people that are coming just for cryo,
right?
And then they realize, oh, you guys also have massage. Like, okay, cool. Like, and they like what we do here. So then they end up, getting massage also, and vice versa.
Exactly. One can feed the other.
Yeah, and people sometimes don't realize anything about cryo. So when they come into massage, and then we have. We realize that they've got a lot of inflammation, or they've got, arthritis, or they've got issues. We can go, hey, it will really help you in cryotherapy, especially.
And explain a little bit. Would you explain a little bit of cryo about? Yeah, so because I'm sure there's some of people in our audience who may have never ever had any type of services of it, may have never heard of it.
For sure.
Or they may have heard of it, not sure what it is. It's just a variation of exposure, and it's still like you said, it's still growing.
Yeah.
In that sense. So if you would elaborate.
Absolutely, yeah. So cryotherapy in general is cold exposure.
Okay.
So it's exposing your body
I'm from Chicago. I had that
extreme
majority of my life.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's why in California I ran from it.
Exactly.
From the good model of it. I'm listening. Okay. From the good part of it.
For sure.
Like we're doing this on purpose. Yeah. Okay. Not long lasting. But okay, I got it.
So yeah, it's just taking you down to extremely low temperatures.
Okay.
And you can do it two ways. We have localized cryo that you can focus in on one area.
Oh,
usually
nice.
works really good if you've had an injury.
Yes.
It works great on things like headaches and stuff like that too. You can do cryofacials. It tightens the skin and all of that kind of stuff. But
I haven't gone that far yet.
Yeah,
That's next.
yeah, but
I have sinus issues
really
too.
And that good too. Yeah, because it reduces inflammation through all those areas, so it really helps all of that stuff.
Okay.
So that you can do to a specific area.
Okay.
And you can do a little longer sessions on one specific area. We track skin temperature to make sure it doesn't get down too low, but it stays within that therapeutic range.
So where you're not burning the...
Exactly. So there's that, but the big one is the whole body cryo. So that you get inside of a chamber, you're standing,
Yes.
You're locked in, your head's out,
Right.
and it just drops down using vaporized nitrogen, drops you down to temperatures anywhere between negative 249 to negative 321.
Man, I went 275. I did the gusto. I ain't go
Yeah.
all the way hard,
Yeah.
but I did go down enough to
Yep.
it. I was like, okay.
Yep. And it's 3 minutes.
Yes.
So it's enough time to for your body to kick off all kinds of mechanisms. So essentially what it's doing is it's tricking your body into thinking you're in a life-threatening situation. So the super cold air hits your skin receptors. It starts kicking off a chain reaction of within your body. So
this is good.
Your blood rushes to your organs and your heart to as a way to preserve
Protect
life,
it.
essentially.
Right.
And it kicks off an immune response, starts shedding cells that aren't working optimally, releases endorphins.
I need to come by every other 20 minutes. And the toxicities too, I'm sure.
Yep. So it kicks off endorphins like norepinephrine and all those like feel-good endorphins. So
say that again. Say it.
Norepinephrine.
Oh, say it one more time.
Norepinephrine.
Now, if I say that, I'm gonna say it one more time.
Norepinephrine.
I'm gonna let Kevin say it. You heard him say it enough. You got it. Okay, I'll practice it later.
But yeah, so that's key. Even it's been featured in Psychology Today for helping with depression,
That's
anxiety,
amazing. Yes.
because it releases all those feel-good endorphins.
Yeah,
And,
brings your mood But a lot of times we need that body shock. We need something to jolt us.
Exactly. So
yeah.
So it does all of those things, and then once you come out, your body takes all that super oxygenated blood from that just happened during the session and rushes it all to the extremities to not only warm everything up, of course, but also to heal anything that your body thinks potentially could have been damaged, which of course it wasn't.
Nice.
But that's what speeds the healing process. It reduces inflammation throughout your whole body. So that's why it's so helpful with things like arthritis, because any kind of anything that's itis at the end is inflammation related.
It's it.
Sinusitis, arthritis, that's all.
Tendinitis.
It's all inflammation.
Yes.
So anything like this that can help reduce inflammation is going to be hugely beneficial for all those things.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and it reduces, I'm sorry, I was going to say, it reduces inflammation even through like your vital organs and your heart, which are a big cause of chronic illness.
Absolutely.
So
how many lives can you save by, just igniting? The body's such an amazing tool, and we really don't appreciate it enough. Yep. Until you get sick, and then you start having all these things happening. And see, what I love about what you're saying, even if you're not in the itises, it's still preventative care.
Absolutely.
And there's something like I remember I had walked almost 2.5 miles right before I came over here, and I said, I've been seeing this, and I've heard some things about it. Didn't know the full Monty, right? But Jessica was like, this is the best time you just came off of that time. Because I could feel my body already reacting from the walk itself. And, jumping into that chamber and coming out. And I can remember that evening just feeling like, wow, I don't even feel like I just trekked like I trekked,
Yep.
And I know I'm pushing myself back into my own level of well-being. And, so... and I was telling Jessica, like, I used to play basketball professionally, and I can remember many of the days, man, getting in them tanks, ice water, freezing. Like I died twice when I put my foot in there, man. And then if you had to submerge your whole body, it was like the devil was just in this place. It was horrible.
For sure.
So to go from that to something that could be so much more of an advancement.
And it's easier. Ice bath is much harder to do.
Oh my God, it is.
Because,
it's painful.
Yeah. So this is not painful. It's just very cold for 3 minutes.
Right. And I mean, just sticking in an ice bath, just sticking your whatever extremity you're putting in there. It takes you about 2 or 3 minutes to adjust.
Yeah.
To just getting in it.
Exactly.
And then you still have to sit in it for a little bit of time, whatever, measurability you could. So to advance this and to offer this in this area, the response, a lot of your clientele, I'm sure, have been coming to you for years at this point.
Absolutely.
But there's just so many, I'm one of those people that had never had the experience or the exposure of it.
Yeah.
So what would you tell those who had not, may have taken other measurements in regards to different things, but have not been introduced to this type of therapy?
I would definitely tell them to give it a try. I mean, there's no downside risk to trying it out.
And as far as maintenance, like how often would you say?
It depends on individuals.
Okay.
So we
fair.
have some clients that come in almost daily, and a lot of times they might have certain ailments they're working through, or they're
really trying to attack aggressively.
or they're just athletes that are really want to be on top of their game and
to recover.
Come in, or some people, they might have autoimmune issues or things, because that's, originally when cryo was first invented by a Japanese doctor back in like 1978.
Wow.
He invented it for autoimmune issues. Yeah, so it never caught on, at least here in the States, probably the late 2000s, the first people that I think really kicked it off. Now it's a standard in the professional sports industry.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's
all
everywhere.
Kinds of chambers.
Yeah, guys like LeBron have it in their house.
Right.
Correct. And but it was first the Dallas Mavericks when they won in whatever year that was,
06?
2009,
No,
or
was it 2007?
I don't know, 06,
Eight,
yeah, right in that
somewhere
range.
there, yeah.
And
My cousin just was traded from the Mavericks. He went to Brooklyn.
And then they were the oldest team to ever win a championship.
Yes.
And they all said that that was one of the reasons that they
won against the Heat.
That was one of the reasons they could push through, because they were all doing cryo constantly, and like they were the only team at the time that were doing cryo on a regular basis
for recovery.
Yeah,
because that's the thing. Like literally, people don't realize like basketball, baseball. Basketball 82-game season.
Yeah.
That's not playoffs. That's a season. So 3-4 nights a week you balling, and then you're practicing and you're traveling.
Yeah.
The body, the recovery time.
Exactly.
It's significant. And then football, look how heavy of an impact.
For sure.
For sure. But baseball, they got 100 games?
Oh yeah.
So, when I was going to say, I felt like probably that the sports world probably became more of the push for it to become more awareness.
For sure. Yeah,
but it makes sense.
Yeah, they realized that you could recover 2 to 3 times
quicker,
faster.
Yes,
which allowed them to do more workouts in a shorter amount of time. They didn't have to wait between recovery times so much.
And injuries. It reduces injuries.
Yeah, exactly.
I know I've had car wrecks and all kinds. So when you've had, and I'm very much a chiro driven. A lot of my recovery was in the chiropractic massage element areas, and so. Even when I was playing at, high school, college, and I remember, turning knees, twisting ankles, and, some of my teammates, they would go straight, allow them to hit the needle and put them cortisone shots. And I was like, no, I've just never been, first of all, I didn't like needles like that, one. And then two, my thing is, even though there's pain's an indicator.
Yeah.
So for me, I just early on, I remember the trainer saying, "Well, look, you turned this ankle, you sprained your ankle, or so what's my options? Well, I can either give you a shot or ice and aspirin." I was like, "Okay, ice and aspirin," because I'm not doing the cortisone.
Yeah.
Because to me, a lot of those shots, they're a temporary fix.
For sure.
And then you're not really recovering.
Yep.
It's just, it's dulling that pain.
Yeah, it's kind of masking it.
Man, and I remember being at many games, man, where I saw people that literally, like, threw their shoulders out or threw their knees out because they were getting these shots. Yeah. And you're thinking you're, back at optimal performance, and you take the wrong step and blew a knee out, you know. Sure. So like things like that always kind of stays cemented in my mind.
Yeah.
So I just really, okay, if I'm just too injured to where I can't play, then that's one thing, but I am not skipping out by getting that shot to I don't want to dull my pain.
Exactly.
I want to feel that I'm recovering.
Yeah.
And so with you guys now being in Temecula and in the Wildomar location, and overall, Kevin, are you primarily a family-owned business?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have.
Do you guys intend on staying like privately owned, or had you thought about franchise models of this particular thing?
We had. So we definitely kicked around that process for a while at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Couple things that kept us away from it. One, we had, back when we really thought about it, we had pretty young kids. Mm-hmm. So our kids were still in school, they were doing their thing. Right. I knew between both me and my wife that if we went to that franchise model, it was going to require a lot of my time. Okay. So it's kind of taking that bigger step, which is great financially, but definitely the time restraints and all that, and like I wanted to be there with my kids when they're in that younger stage. So, in addition, also I knew some of the franchise world growing up. My mom owned a franchise. Totally different industry, but and so you wasn't not a stranger to it. I saw a lot of the lamenting. She did okay, but. You
also saw the other side.
The other side of it, where she was paying a lot of her profits to the franchisor. She was being forced to do things. They would hit her out of the blue and say, "Hey, you need to repaint everything and do this and rearrange things, and it's going to be $40,000." And she's like, "What?" And they're, so it.
changes the whole game.
Yeah, so
Makes you reconsider.
So
worth it. Yeah.
So it kind of puts a strain on the franchisor. Not that it can't work for them. Obviously, it does because there's a million of them out there.
Right.
But
then is it worth the time of what it's a trade-off.
So
if you want to commit to that, yes.
Yeah, and I can kind of see the side, especially being in this industry, I see other franchised companies and I see what they do with some of their models. And I realize that some of the way they do things is mostly benefits the franchisor.
Correct.
Because they make their money off gross income.
That's it.
So they want their gross income to be as high as possible so they get as big a checks as possible.
Right.
They're not quite as concerned. They want to make sure that their franchisors are making it.
Right. But there's no more investment beyond that, right?
But
you still got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they don't realize that franchises does not automatically make you successful.
Yeah.
And it's a facade to think that just because I'm behind this brand or I'm so that does not necessarily mean you're going to make it.
Yeah.
You still got to work. You still have to put in the work and. Actually, sometimes you have to work just as hard, because of the fact that you're splitting profits, revenues, or there's something that may be kind of, crunched inside of the operation for you. It could be a number of things.
Yeah.
But the reason why I asked is because I could easily see, though, if it was something that you did decide to do, that you have the right model. Like you really, to me, have found the way in which you needed to perfect how it works for you.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
And just even the location here, you come in and it feels like a good space to come in for your own well-being and balance, for those therapeutic needs.
Yeah.
I haven't been to your Wildomar location, but just being over here in the Temecula location is,
the only thing about Wildomar is we do not have the whole body cryo.
Oh, got you.
So the whole body cryo
different
is only
location.
Here. We do have an infrared sauna over there.
Very nice.
So
which is
good.
Not here.
Which
so
is
it's a little bit off.
So
little change off, a little trade off.
Give and take, yeah.
Yes. So are you opening more locations? Oh, you think about that?
We were. So right before COVID,
okay,
right before that whole debacle,
yes,
we were already looking at different locations, and some in either North County, San Diego, or Orange County.
Yes,
and so we were looking to expand that way,
right?
And of course, COVID kind of put a wrench in the whole system, and
pause.
And so we were who knows what's happening in the world? Right. We don't want to go out on a limb and do something that's gonna,
take us on a
risk that we're not quite ready for. So we're just kind of getting to that point now where we're like, okay, so now
consideration.
Yeah, now let's kind of go back and see how we want to revisit and progress from here.
Very nice, very nice. I definitely see it. I think Kevin, you guys have your staff. Even beyond your staff has been very, very concise about what you guys are able to offer. Jessica was a rock star. I had her cracking awesome. Up. I documented my experience. I said, after I do this interview, I said, I got to share Kevin. So, for those who are, and I'm glad to see that there seems to be more of a movement toward well-being. Actually, COVID has really, if it didn't shock your attention before, it's forcing you to recognize that, a lot of people say, you have people that don't believe and some that do believe, but at the end of the day, COVID really, it can attack underlying issues. So you might have issues you weren't even aware that was going on in your body.
Exactly.
And then, COVID, the virus hits you, and then you're having these complications. I know since I had COVID a couple times, my body feels differently.
Oh, yeah.
I remember the first, which was the far worst, when I realized I was sick. I could feel something foreign inside. Not everybody's in touch with their bodies, but I could feel the awfulness of it existing and attempting to maneuver and do things. And so I've been more conscientious, definitely, of your alternative, medicines and better therapies that take just your natural elements of your body which is what I was saying in the beginning, is how wonderful the body can heal itself.
Yeah.
You
exactly.
know?
And that's the thing, is that we know, I mean, that is like a indisputable, no matter what side of the COVID issue you might be on, there's no doubt that as a general rule, people that were healthier and stronger immune systems and everything else did far better.
Correct.
If and that goes across the board with
anything.
Yes,
it does.
So
and then even if you did not, there's some people that may not have actually been attacked by the virus itself, but it gives you consciousness of how important it is to have that self-care.
Yeah.
And to be more intentional about your well-being.
For sure.
So is there other services too that you guys offer here?
We do facials now. Okay. So that was
also the cryo skin.
we do the cryo skin. The cryo skin's great. It's more of a obviously aesthetic. It's like
some veinness may exist somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
why not?
So it's good for tightening skin, like cellulite. It really helps tighten things up. In addition, it is similar to what is that? I'm trying to think. Well, it's cryoliposis is what it's called, but it's freezing and killing fat cells.
Oh, very nice. So you can kind of apply it in different parts.
So we have a certain therapist that know how to do it, and it's kind of like a ultrasound wand is basically what it looks like, and then they can focus in on certain areas, whether it's like lower abdomen or buttocks or whatever else, and then they target those areas over a course of typically usually 5 or 6 sessions or 5 to 10 sessions.
Oh, very nice.
And
you start seeing the results,
and it freezes and kills fat cells. Yeah,
very
so
nice.
we did a 12-week challenge. Was it 12-week or 6-week? I can't remember which one it was. But we did a challenge where we take measurements, and for people that came in, and the winner of that challenge over the course of, actually I do believe it was only 6 weeks, lost 3.5 inches.
Wow.
So that was
good.
That was great. Yeah.
Because that's a short window of time.
It is a short window, yeah. So, and especially if people are doing things in conjunction, it works best when people are, making sure they're drinking enough water and they're, they don't have to go crazy with their healthy eating, but making sure they're not, eating
a lot of
inflammatory, and so, but it's it can be a great, addition to all of that and really help you to
get a grip on
kind
things.
of tone up and
very nice.
So that's great. And then we do the like regular European facials. They use the Dermalogica products and
traditional things that people from the facial perspective.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
and you guys allow walk-ins. I know I was a walk-in.
Yeah, for cryotherapy for sure.
Yeah.
Massage, facials, those kind of things. We need appointments.
Okay. But, what are your hours here?
10 to 6 Monday through Saturday and 12 to 6 on Sundays.
So you open every day? Both locations?
Wildomar is closed on Mondays.
Okay.
So
Temecula has the bigger flow of traffic every day. Okay. And as far as... if you would, Kevin, share with our audience your website, your social media handles, so that they know how to connect to you.
We are simplykneaded.com.
Okay, spell it for me, too.
Yeah, spelled SIMPLYKNEADED.com.
Perfect.
Instagram is SK Therapy.
Yes.
I believe. Yes.
I remember that. SK Therapy.
SK Therapy. And
Facebook too.
Facebook also. I don't take care of our Facebook thing, so I haven't.
That's okay. I think it's simply needed. I think it's simply needed.
I think it is simply needed.
Yes. And it's simply needed performance therapy is the full name.
Yes, that's what it is. Simply needed performance therapy.
Okay.
So,
and are you guys? One of the things I wanted you to mention. I know that you work with athletes, but you also give an option for like student athletes.
Yeah.
Would you kind of share with that realm you have specifically? That I know that you've been. I saw something that you had set up for student athletes.
So we do the student athletes are automatic members with us, so they get the member rates on everything whenever they come in.
Okay.
But
you guys offer the memberships.
yeah, and
Oh,
then
very
we
nice.
then we set up with specific teams at schools where to help fundraising, where they, when someone comes in and says, "Hey, I'm with, Great Oak Cross Country," or whatever the case may be,
very nice.
then we give 20% of proceeds, back to that organization.
Oh, cool.
To help them, and and
that's
then they get the
That's good
special
community.
deals on cryotherapy,
Yeah.
and so we've got a lot of kids that come in for cryotherapy, ranging from gymnasts to basketball, football.
That's good.
Track. We get some of the kids who are some of the top kids in the nation at Rancho Christian,
Yes.
and their basketball team.
Yes.
So we get some of them coming in, and
And that's convenient as it goes,
some of
too.
those guys are
Yeah.
going to UCLA and Duke and everywhere else after this. So
I mean, you're really starting them off in the path in which, as they progress, that it becomes something that becomes a mainstay,
yeah,
and you're helping them to learn self-care.
exactly.
Because I'm gonna tell you, man, I remember just as a student athlete, we still had kind of some bad habits, eating junk.
Oh yeah, for sure.
After a game, had
Even some of
a
those
bucket load of
pros-
soda
some
and
of those
everything.
pros used to be back in the day.
Yes,
You see what some
smoking
of these
and
guys were eating,
drinking,
you're like,
and
what are you guys doing?
And you would run for man. Listen, and I played with some of them too. When I tell you, I'm like, how did you just drink 2 Colt 45s and then you out here sweating like a hole? You know what I'm saying? And dripping on me on top of it. But it is funny because even then they were accustomed to it. It's weird. It was really weird. I mean,
sure.
I remember clearly. It's funny. We could joke about it, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
And or smoking, and I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I don't work out after a few weeks. I'm huffing and puffing, and you over here smoking. You're like, brother, what are you doing? You don't have 2 packs of cigarettes. What is you doing?
Yeah.
But it just goes to show you the transformation of time.
Yeah.
And the level, sports have leveled up. We were talking about that before we went live on our interview here. But it's become a serious thing for student athletes, especially now you got the NIL deals and stuff going on.
For sure.
So there's a lot of opportunity, and I do feel like it's a wonderful thing that your centers can provide the services.
Yeah.
So because there is a lot. I forgot Rancho is so close. You have a lot of stellar athletes that are out here.
Yeah.
Doing their thing. So, have you guys ever partnered up with any professional sports teams or anything?
We
before?
had with the Storm. We've had some of
like
the
Elsinore.
Storm, Elsinore Storm guys that have come over.
Baseball. Nice.
They're about the closest we have around as
Right.
far as pro.
Well, Padres ain't
goes.
that far.
Yeah, they're not that far, but they have all their
But
own
they got their own
facilities
stuff.
and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
What about colleges? What about colleges?
No, not so much. I mean, same kind of thing. There's really not a lot of colleges that are close by,
But that's true.
So, but yeah. So,
But
I know
we
we
start
have
hitting
them.
some of the larger ones. They're starting to incorporate certain facilities.
Yeah.
But that's most times that's like athletically driven towards student athletes.
Yeah.
Not counting the student body.
Yeah.
So I can even see like San Diego. I can see could definitely be, as you're talking about consideration. I could definitely see it down in that area for sure.
Exactly.
I think it goes to show, Kevin, that you've grown and shown over a time period, understanding your niche and sticking to what you know to be the basis of where you've been, and it's worked off and paid off for you very well. And I think I commend you that. You've been faithful with your stretch of time and your walk with things.
Yeah.
So if you guys do decide to expand and do that, which I can see it definitely, especially I would say San Diego all day. It's measurably enough, beyond Fallbrook, but even like that Escondido Oceanside into San Diego area. One of the things that, as entrepreneurs, you also have to look at the, your demographical area and make sure it makes sense.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
And look, and I appreciate this place because I'm new to I'm a newbie myself. So I definitely recommend it. And You know, you guys have, really made it accessible to the public to come in. And you mentioned a membership. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah,
I forgot to
we've
ask
got
you about
a
that.
couple different plans that we have. Our normal membership is basically $19 a month.
Okay.
We don't do any sign-up fees or contracts or any of that kind of stuff, and that
Okay.
gets you member rates, which are reduced rates on essentially everything.
Okay. Services. Okay.
So we've got that plan, plus we've got a plan just for people that come in and get massaged like once a month. So it's essentially it's our massage club. They're prepaying one massage a month at the member rate.
Okay.
They get to, that comes out on the 1st. They have a massage to use during the course of the month. If they happen to not use it, it just rolls over. So
nice.
they never lose it. And
That's good.
and again, there's no contract.
And so
or
it's
anything.
not necessarily member driven only,
No.
but it's an option.
It's an option.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
It's an option to save you money in the long run. And
Exactly. Especially when
So.
you know you're going to keep coming and doing this or whatnot.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Well, Kevin, thank
So,
you.
all
I
right.
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that you had an opportunity to come on LouddMouth Radio Network and share with us about your business. And definitely, can you give your address here to your locations too? if you would?
Here in Temecula, we are 31141 Temecula Parkway, Suite H2. It's easier just to see the sign, but
Right.
and in Wildomar, we are 36068 Hidden Springs. That location is right off of Clinton Keith,
I was looking.
off the 15 in the Stater Brothers Center.
Okay.
And this one is in the CVS Center at Jedediah Smith in Temecula Parkway.
Perfect. All right.
So,
Thank you so much, Kevin.
No problem. Thank
So
you.
guys, make sure you want some services and you hear this opportunity, take advantage. You got 2 locations, no excuses. Thanks, Kevin.
Awesome. Thank you,
I
Sonny.
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
You're listening to the LouddMouth Radio Network. This episode is sponsored by LouddMouth.com, the #1 small business online network. We're putting the word out about small business. Put your business on the referral network online that wants to put the word out about you. 30.7 million small businesses in the U.S., creating 1.5 million jobs annually. Small business accounts for 64% of new job creation in the U.S. There's strength in numbers. No matter what we face, know that there's strength in us. Because of you, we're able, we're capable, we're resilient, and we are available because we are small business. And together, we're the economy. You're listening to the LouddMouth Radio Network.
When I was diagnosed with cancer, it felt like my whole world came tumbling down.
Patient Advocate Foundation is here for you, providing free one-on-one practical support to patients with a cancer diagnosis. Call us at 800-532-5274. Patient Advocate Foundation can assist in navigating disability benefits and health insurance options. PAF also helps in accessing vital services, medications, and financial resources for both medical and household expenses. Visit patientadvocate.org or call 800-532-5274.